When shadows fall and spirits howl, zombies stalk and madmen prowl, monsters lurk and victims shiver. Thrills and chills they will deliver. Arise from your graves and get in the mood. It's time to join the Spooky Dudes.
And I was slow. It did it again. Shoot. Hold on.
Zombies stalk.
Hey, it's live. Look at that.
It was just on a roll.
This felt more natural than like the last 10 times when I nailed it. So I'm gonna go with it. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is episode 22, I believe, of Spooky Dudes Live. And I am joined with a very special guest tonight. She and I have been communicating back and forth. I've watched some of her work recently, including you could alternatively title it Sausage Fest, but it's not what you think. It's called Secrets of the Witch. Her name is Dixie Gers. Thank you, Dixie, for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, my sister made a comment pretty early on, like we're on episode 22, and I think we've had, well, at this point I had one episode where there was like 6 people, so there was a female in the midst there. But like when I put the beacon out to get people on the show, it was just dudes. and you shared it out too. I was like, well, Dixie, you come on the show.
Yeah.
And my sister's like, you need to have some ladies on the show. I'm like, I'm trying. It's just dudes keep responding. So these dudes are in my DMs.
I can send some ladies your way, probably somewhere. I'll send some more people. Just you tell me when.
There we go. Well, I'm almost caught up to my progress, so I'm gonna have to start adding people to the calendar now. We'll get there. But how are you doing after post FrankenCon and all the going back
I'm
to work and
good.
normalcy?
I'd love to still be at FrankenCon. It was a really, really good time. Like I'm telling you, like, and I know I've already told you this, but like it's definitely something special, and it's not even just like the vibe with the people and stuff, and like it's super special, and like I could probably have spent like a month there. So like I think it's just because like it's also the interactions with the people there, like, and like having those connections and stuff like that, and just like so many different indie filmmakers and stuff like that. Like you don't always get to be in a big room together and like network and talk about film and stuff like that, and then you're also alongside some horror icons and stuff too, and like all the cool things to shop, great food. So like I'm just 100% sold.
Well, thank you for saying that. Somebody said something about making it a month long, and I was like, was that you? Or someone said that on Facebook, and I was like, you're gonna kill me and Richard. like we pulled off 2 days.
Me, but like I would enjoy it if it was a month long, but that wasn't me. Like that, I know that can be like, that would be a lot.
That I think what you said though is I believe exactly what you said, and I think that, not this isn't FrankenCon live or anything. Sorry, my daughter is using the toilet in the background there. There she is. Oh, scoot in a little bit here. There you go. There's Violet. Say hi to Dixie.
Hi.
Go to bed. Yeah, this isn't like a FrankenCon show, but I think the most important thing honestly is the vibe and just how much people are having a good time,
Yeah, for sure. And like and you could tell people are having a good time, and like, and the cool thing too is like a lot of times with the conventions, like you don't ever see the same face, but literally both days people were coming back and you saw the same faces and stuff. It was like, oh hey, from the day before. I thought that was really cool because you don't see that often.
Yeah, that is kind of different. It's not the Fast and Furious kind of running around thing. Well,
and just the film festival alone, total side note, like that's the biggest crowd I've ever seen for a film fest, where it was just like outside of like a big premiere of like a really known film or anything like that, that was like a huge crowd. So like that was super exciting as well.
Yeah. No, Film Fest was awesome. Had nothing to do with me, but it was awesome. Like all the entrants were great and everybody was a good sport and it was just fun. So there may be something in the near future. People just wait. Anyway, enough about that. Let's talk about Dixie. She's here. And I guess let's start with your latest project I've seen, which is Secrets of the Witch.
So that film, it came from, so I've always been like to like witches and like the history and stuff like that. But a couple years ago, I came across an article about a new like history of the witches. It was actually like a Vice article, and it stated that witches would steal men's manhood. And so I read the article and I was like, I have to turn this into something. Like it was just I was sold. So essentially, there's a book called the Malus Maleficarum. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but this guy who was a witch hunter in the 15th century wrote this book, and like had all of these. Essentially, it's a witch hunting guide, and like it's super long and has all these details and stuff like that in like different chapters. But essentially, he said that witches they could hide men's manhood from them, so just make it disappear on them. Or that they would steal men's penises and turn them into pets and put them in nests and feed them oats. So, and then they also keep like what they would call the phallus tree and have like the penises and stuff tied to trees and bushes. And essentially, if a man, if his wasn't working, he could cut and pick one out. But if he picked out one that was too big or whatever, he would be cursed even more. So it was like this whole crazy. And I was like, I've got to turn this into a short film. Like I've seen this image in my head that I want to create, so I've got to do it.
With all that, I can see a sequel potential.
Yeah.
Just like an entire wiener tree.
Well, if I had more time, I would have totally done more because I did want to have like at least like a bush or something like outside the house and like that. But we shot the film in 2 days, so like all of my shorts I've done, we filmed them in 2 days. So no budget, no time, just getting it done. That's
amazing. I mean, the stuff that y'all can get done so quickly, and then there's like, I mean, I get it. There's $80 million films and stuff like that, but like the stuff y'all can get done in such a short time with, literally nothing but like networking and like a community and your own money, right?
Yeah.
This is one thing I don't think I've had anyone on here yet that doesn't have a day job, myself included, right? We talked about this before the show, right? Podcasting don't keep the roof above my head. So it's all labor of love kind of stuff at this point.
It really is.
I mean, that's the thing though, too, is like, when we talk about older movies, like Jaws or Night of the Living Dead or something like that, I think those movies like elevated because of their limitations, right? Like if they just had unlimited budget, you would have seen that shark all over Jaws. It would have been everywhere. We wouldn't have the POV camera swimming and all this other really inventive stuff. Like that's when you're kind of boxed in a little bit. I think that actually it enables the project to be cooler, when it has to overcome that stuff. So
yeah, you have to get super creative when you have limited budget and like resources and stuff for sure.
And one thing I've noticed as well, and I don't know if it's everybody, like I feel like I'm still at, I'm not even under the crest of the water on the iceberg of like independent horror right now, but like everyone likes you. Okay, like there's a few people that's just like everybody loves, right? You and Dylan are two that come to the front of my mind. Dylan Young, who was on, I don't know, a few episodes back, and you guys all work together. Dylan actually made a cameo in Secrets of the Witch.
What's funny is like, so I put a post out, like we actually became Facebook friends recently. I never met Dylan. and so I put a post out because I needed someone to be a guitar player. And like, so my boyfriend is like in a band, like he's a musician. So like when it comes to the band piece in our films, they have to be on point. He's so critical of it. So I was like, this person's going to be seen. I need someone that can actually play guitar and stuff. And Dylan reached out, and I didn't know a lot about him, but actually Ben had met him before. So Ben Johnson, who directed Curse of the Werewolf. So I was like, okay, yeah, come out, be the guitar player and stuff. And then from there on set, Dylan actually volunteered and helped out to do sound and stuff when it wasn't the band scene, and help with like lights and stuff like that. And that first night, we were there, I think from like 3 p.m. to like midnight, and it's in October, so like it definitely was getting colder. And he came out a second night, and again, all day, all night into the AM hours, and like he was just absolutely fantastic. And if he wasn't there, I probably would have been screwed, and it would have taken longer to do the film. So I'm super appreciative of Dylan. And the cool thing is too, like from that, just even from the film, like we all 3 got together and did Curse of the Werewolf together and got to work on that. And then from there, Dylan came into The Art of Killing that I did with Jacob Innes and Jason Crow. So like he came on set to help. I was like, they're like, do you know somebody? I was like, yep, Dylan, he's in Louisville. You want to hit him up? He's fantastic. So and that's probably like my favorite thing about anything when it comes to film, is just the connections you make. And like, and how you can just always work with each other, and you have that person if you need help or like advice or whatever. So
I'm waiting. I keep joking about waiting for the other shoe to drop where someone's going to be a complete douchebag, but so far everybody I've talked to has been super cool. So far the community is like just a bunch of good people.
Oh, for sure. There's a ton of good people. So
does Dylan play guitar?
Yeah, he actually plays guitar. He used to be in a band, and he would write music and stuff. So,
and he's like 12. So, we talked about that. We talked about his age because I was like, "Oh yeah, man, back in the day with the video store and how old are you?" Like 23. I'm like, "You child, what are you doing up this late?"
Yeah, but his film work is absolutely fantastic. Like his stuff is like so amazing. I'm just like, one day I'll get there. Like,
hey, here's the thing. Everybody, and we can go back to the film fest thing. Like every piece of film that was entered in the film festival had its own style. Like, and really I mean, does. There's, he definitely has a style that I will say, I think the next thing you watch he makes, you can go, that's Dylan.
Yeah.
Not just because he's in it, probably because there's no budget and you gotta wear so many hats, but yeah, he definitely has a style. But that's the thing is, people get kind of burnt out on movies and they'll say like, oh well, horror is like it's all whitewashed, it's all sanitary and stuff like that. And I personally don't even think that's true with big budget at this, or let's not say big budget, with studio films. I mean, we still have like A24 and stuff like that making really original stuff. But if people are going to complain about that, they need to start going in these Facebook groups and meeting you guys and buying your movies because they are unique. Never do I buy a movie from an indie filmmaker and I'm like, that's just like, Clown of the Dead. That's just the first thing I saw on my shelf. I still haven't even watched it. So that's a wild eye thing. Okay. But yeah, anyway, no, I loved it. I made a joke. I have to be sort of careful because my kid is still up here in earshot, but that next film fest, wink, wink, if there is one, wink, the movies were really going to step up the male genital mutilations because between you and John Devlin directing a monster too.
I feel like honestly our 2 films could have been like a double feature, like because it's almost like because they had a witch in it and like she was the reason, so like I was like it coincides, it works perfectly.
You're not well, okay, so here funny story, I don't know if I told you this. So I put everybody sent in their movies and I put them all on my thumb drive and I went out of town with my friend that was running the ticket booth up front, Posey, and then my sister Casey, who you met at the event, and they helped judge too. And so we watched them in a particular order, which was the order that y'all submitted them in. And so it put you and John back to back. And so y'all were like movie 3 and 4 out of 13. And so we're watching these and they're like, that was the 3rd and 4th movie. And some of the other ones were more tame when it comes to that sort of thing. So they were like, you probably want to move the order around just a little bit. And I'm like, that's pretty smart. I don't think we want to, no disrespect to anybody, but we don't want to go out on, like, when you have those right up front, you don't want to go out on something that's very docile,
Well, the one, I can't remember the name of it right offhand, but he won the award for like the most gore.
Oh,
you could have ended with that one.
Silico Solutions.
Perfect. Yes, that was a really good one.
So I think when we watched them, when we were out of town and we watched them, that one was last, and they were both sitting there like, oh. And I'd already seen everything at least once. I think I had already watched yours and John's 2 or 3 times each, which shows you what kind of human being I am. But his was entered last, and everybody, when it came to the vote for the goriest, there was like no question. Everybody's like, that's goriest. I'm like, I mean, it's arguable if you're judging gore by how many gallons of blood were used versus, but it was, it was shocking. So, but it was a great crop of movies. I don't know how we keep coming back to the film festival, but
I know it's really hard. It's because we're all connected. That's the whole thing.
That's the start of the community part on this end, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what's next? What projects are you working on right now?
I've got the Scream Dream remake coming up in September. We film in September, being directed by Adam Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a small role in that. After that, like, I think I've told you this already, I'm gonna do a short in October when I'm on vacation. That's usually when I film. At least I didn't do anything last year, like a personal film that I've done. So I do want to do like another short this year, to tone up my skills and stuff like that and see where I go. And then for next year, hopefully, I'm really thinking about it, like 85% of the way there. I think I really do want to turn Secrets of the Witch into like a feature film. Wow. And so I would hope to do that next year, because there's like so much more like imagery and stuff that I see in my head, because with that film it was more of a visual thing than like a storyline per se. And that's kind of how we created and filmed it, like a lot more like music and stuff, and not necessarily a lot of dialogue. But there's a lot more that I want to do visually with it, and can take that story even further. And I think it would be a lot of fun, and like I don't think there's too much like it out there. So I think it would be really good to do that. So.
Oh, I love that. No, I think that would be great. I might know somewhere you could premiere it if you need to. Maybe.
Yeah.
We got a couple comments for sure. Carl Allen. Hi, Carl. How are you? Carl says, but the show is called Spooky Dudes. Well, Spooky Dudes. Dudes
can be anybody.
Yeah, it's gender neutral, man. We're all. Remember Good Burger? I'm a dude. She's a dude. He's a dude. We're all dudes.
We're all dudes.
Hi, Jason Godsey. Hello. Jason says, hi, y'alls. We got a comment on Twitch from Gregory Ghoulish. I like your avatar, Gregory. Hi, I guess it's a little waving lady.
Oh.
It's one of those like Twitch emote things. I don't know.
Gotcha.
I don't know how they add them to the channel. I guess it's just there. I don't know. I don't do much on Twitch, but I'm on there. Brandon Posey, where would you premiere it? I don't know. Some con in Knoxville, Alcoa, Tennessee, next year.
It might not be done by then, though, because obviously you don't want to film in the cold weather. So, because if you're in the woods and stuff, so you kind of want to actually film it around like May or June, probably. April, that's too much of a risk of like weather in Tennessee. I mean Kentucky, like with the rain and snow potentials that we have.
Yeah. Gosh, they're just firing them in. Jason Godsey is spooky dude here. Yes, the spookiest of dudes, the dude that builds castle walls. Jason Godsey. Thank you. Great show so far. Thank you, Gregory Goulash. Never heard of it. Posey, you are a smart butt. Posey, of course, is the man that runs the ticket booth up front, and he's great at his job. If you need help with new films, message me and help out. Yeah, Jason is a big fabricator. He likes building stuff. So he's, if anybody came to the con, okay, I'm gonna try to not bring it up anymore. But those giant castle walls we had in our programming room, those were built by Jason. So he did. I would never mess with that much styrofoam, but he did a good job. What is? Okay, Brandon. All right. Hey, I got an important question, Dixie.
Okay.
You like horror movies?
Yep.
Obviously. You like t-shirts?
I do like t-shirts.
Well,
got my spooky dude shirt on.
That's a great shirt. And you guys can get that shirt if you go to spookydudes. What is it? I think it's .store. But it doesn't work on my internet for some reason because AT&T thinks it's evil. Anyway, but that's not the thing at hand here. If you guys want really, really cool horror t-shirts from great people, you can check out frightrags.com, fright-rags.com. They have been a sponsor of Spooky Dudes since I don't know, day 3. I don't know. Anyway, but you can save 10% on your shirts or your socks or your
pajama
Joe
pants.
The pajama pants are no joke. Like the softest pajama pants in the game. Joe Bob Briggs collection. This is new. If you're a Quentin Tarantino and who directed it? True Romance. Tarantino wrote it, but I can't remember who directed it.
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know. It's not a gotcha. But
I was
anyway,
gonna say they have the True Romance collection that dropped. So
that's very unique. Especially, it's not really a horror movie, but you want horror stuff. Yeah. Gary Oldman as a sort of Rastafarian drug dealing gangster. Chucky collection. They got new Chucky stuff. Everybody loves Chucky. Jaws. I mean, all kinds of stuff, guys. The Prowler, okay? That movie came out the same day I did, okay? I was literally born on the day the Prowler was released. So if anybody ever asks you that in bar trivia, now you know. Anyway, fright-rags.com. Use code SpookyDudes10. 10% off your order, even if it's on sale. Back to your regularly scheduled program.
Heck yeah.
I'm really bad at segues, but now I've got some questions for you that are not necessarily pertaining to your work.
Okay.
So first one, Dixie, is what got you into horror?
Honestly, it would probably like my dad. Honestly, it probably not on purpose, more on accident. Growing up, my dad would watch us, and he had like a big van. I don't know what kind of van you would call it, but it was like a big box van, but it would have like a seat that could lay onto a bed, a table, all the stuff in the back of it. And so when we would drive around, he would have like the small like TV with a VCR built into it.
Mm-hmm.
And we watched movies, and like the only two movies we had in the van was Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and Ghostbusters.
DreamWorks.
So,
Ghostbusters? Okay.
Yep. So those were like just the movies constantly watching. And then as a kid, I remember, he'd be like sitting in his lazy boy chair, and I would sneak in because it was past bedtime and just sit down, and like he'd be watching like Tales from the Crypt and stuff like that. So just like sit and watch. So like I think that's just kind of where it started. And especially with like horror, because like Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors is like my favorite probably horror film of any of them. And like Freddy Krueger is like my slasher that I love. So just from there, I just try and watch as many horror movies as I could growing up. And like I've always loved Halloween. Like it's always been my favorite holiday. So like kind of coincides together.
Nice. Yeah. I think Freddy probably I mean, it's kind of a bummer, but like you really can't, like you're never going to get Freddy out of the shadow of Robert Englund, right? Like I don't know that they're ever going to be able to, nothing wrong with Jackie Earl Haley, but
No.
that reboot is not up to the, you know what I'm saying? It's just,
I was super disappointed with it.
Like with Jason, it's like put a mask on a big dude, and they can do stuff like Kane Hodder does the whole,
the breathing and stuff.
Breathing and stuff, but by and large, like the personality is everything for Freddy. So
yeah, and
I don't know. I don't know
like his voice and stuff like that as Freddy Krueger and like the comebacks he has, the wittiness. Like you can probably imitate it a little bit, but because he's done so many films as that character, like no one else can do it. Honestly, in my opinion.
I agree. I wish maybe he could become a voice actor and you like get someone else to play him, but then like dub in. I don't know. I don't know if that works, but
you could. I mean, that could work.
We can try it. I mean, it's better than not having any movies, but I think they're in some kind of weird legal limbo like Friday the 13th was. I think there's some weird dispute over the rights to Nightmare on Elm Street now.
I feel like there's always some type of dispute over something with any of the franchises.
If dudes can make money off of it, copious amounts of money, then they're for sure. All right. And you probably already answered this one. Typically people answer this, but the first horror film you can remember, didn't even have to like it, but if it's one of those two, it's probably something you like.
It was Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
That's a good one. That is better to me than you watching 1 or 2, because like 1 is super dark and then 2 is like really like there's some really twisted stuff in there. I've got a big appreciation for part 2 I didn't have as a kid, but that movie's, him just going to that party and just jacking all the kids up and stuff like that's gnarly. All the fire. Yeah. Oh, Dream Warriors. Oh, you got a comment here too. Gregory Goulash says, I have a soft spot for Dream Warriors. I don't even think you have to have a soft spot for that movie. I think it's,
I mean, it's the first time they got to fight back.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
It's so well done. The whole cast was on point. It's a great sequel.
Yeah.
It used to be my favorite. I don't think it's my favorite sequel anymore, but it's a great movie. And you got Dawkins singing Dream Warriors. I'm not gonna say it's good, but
no, I mean that's the only good thing Dawkins ever done. So, if you give him that,
I'm gonna say that song is okay. Man Behind the Mask from Part 6, Friday the 13th, and then the Dawkins song just under it. They're both a little hokey, right? But what are you gonna do? All right. This one trips people up a little bit. What is a film? Hold on. I can't read my own typing. What is a film you didn't like the first time you watched it, but upon further viewings, you enjoyed it?
I might get a lot of hate for this, but
yes.
Scream. I did not like it the first time I saw it.
Okay. Tell us more.
I'm trying to think how old I was or what grade I was in when it came out, but like, I was like, yeah, it's fun. It's got like, the killing, the slasher, that sort of thing. But I was just like, it's not that great. Like, I honestly didn't learn to appreciate it and enjoy it more until I was older. And I couldn't tell you how many years ago it was. At least probably about 8 or 9 years ago, I went to Texas Frightmare, and there was a screening of Scream. And Neve Campbell was there for it. Okay,
nice.
So she did like a Q&A and stuff after the film. And so like when I watched it then, I was like, oh, this is actually, and I think it's probably where I just didn't understand maybe all the jokes and stuff because of the age I was when I first saw it. And so I was like, oh, this is actually really clever. So I actually enjoyed and appreciated it more when I got older.
Okay. Oh, that's a good one. Oh,
Yeah.
look, Scream's great, but I mean, the 90s are a weird period in horror. So, a
Mhm.
lot of it, and that was 96. I had to look it up. I thought it was 94 for some reason, but no, 96.
So I was probably in 6th or 7th grade. So
I would have been 14 when it came out. So whatever that equates to, I think that's beyond 7th grade. All y'all youngins out here staying up too late. All right, this one's easy, but people have trouble. Favorite subgenre of horror?
I mean, I don't know if I necessarily have a favorite. I mean, I guess you can honestly just like slashers. Like I love to see the blood and the gore. But I'm not necessarily. It's funny. I don't like to see it where it's like so realistic, like the torture and like the breaking of bones and all that stuff, because it makes me cringe. Because I'm like, oh, what if that was happening to me? Like I get in my head that way. But like I do enjoy like a good gory film and like lots of blood and stuff like that. Like I think you can add just to films sometimes, but so I'd go with slashers or even a good revenge horror film. I like those as well. Those are probably some of my favorite type of characters and stuff to play too. So
Okay, cool. Slashers is one of the least favorite subgenres of people I interview, and I'm shocked. Every time I get that, I'm shocked.
I mean, I can understand why, because I honestly I feel like it might be like slashers are so mainstream in a sense. So, but like if you, I mean, there's just so much you can do with it, especially if you're writing a film or doing a film. When it comes to slashers and just the characters you can create and like to become a killer, like there doesn't have to be like a rhyme or reason why someone's doing something.
Sure. Well, we've had some really good ones. I thought like the Final Girls, I thought that was good. I mean, that's been out a while, but it's still a newer one. Like I guess the 80s were like slashers heyday, right? Like everything was a slasher. Like if you can slap a holiday on somebody or a mask for some weird reason, that's a slasher. But it sort of died out after that, and then I think Scream sort of revitalized it. But it also made fun of it. So it was like, here we go, Scream again. We can't leave Scream alone. Okay. Flip that coin over. Your least favorite subgenre.
Honestly, it's a tough question.
That one's tough.
I'd probably have to go maybe with like paranormal.
Okay. And you can like a movie in that subgenre, right? It's just like in general, 75% of this doesn't make me happy. So
yeah. Paranormal, I'll watch some of them, like for sure, but like sometimes it can just be so overdone in a sense. And like probably same with like zombie films these days in a sense. I feel like those are like, there's just, what else can you do? Like
I mean, yeah, I'm with you. Paranormal's tough, right? There's a fine line between making it scary and being just hokey. There's a wide range if you want to think what oh shoot, I just forgot the name of it. The one with George C. Scott, The Changeling, right?
Yeah.
The ghost movie. Like I'm not gonna say it's an exciting film, but it's like really good. But then you got a bunch of these jumping at the camera ghost stuff, and it gets
I
old
almost
quick.
want to say like, because like I do like found footage films, but almost more so like the paranormal found footage genre. Like the Paranormal Activity films, I don't care for those at all. Like
okay,
yeah.
Did you watch Bad Ben?
I haven't seen that. So
So you gotta watch Bad Ben, because that's Nigel doing Paranormal Activity with $300. So we're talking about no budget. Like I love Bad Ben, but that they discovered when he took himself out of those movies, the movies did poorly.
Oh, no.
He tried to get serious, and it's like took him out. People were like, "No, we want you back," and you just cussing at ghosts and stuff, man. That's what it's all about. Like, there you go. People like what they like.
Yeah.
Okay. VHS cover you can remember from the video store. Or I mean, maybe not. I don't. Some people are like, I never went in a video store, but I remember this cover.
Yeah, I definitely went in video stores. I would probably say, probably like one of my favorites, just because like I've always loved cats, crazy cat lover, like Sleepwalkers, just like that cover, and it's like the animals, and you have like the creepy house and stuff. So, and then obviously like Elm Street films, like seeing those in video stores always made me happy. Pet Cemetery 2, just because I knew who Edward Furlong was. So, yeah.
Let's talk about Scream again for a minute. I think Scream ruined the cover of movies for a long time, because it was just their faces. It was the most boring poster I've ever seen in my life.
I did like the Craft cover, but that's because I wanted to be one of them. Like I thought they looked cool.
Well,
so there's that.
Hold on, I'm looking all these up as you're saying. I don't remember the original Craft cover. Is it just them walking?
Yeah.
Lightning striking? Yeah.
But I was like, they look cool. I want to be them when that film came out.
Cool. That's fine though. Scream is like a black background and just their pretty faces, and it says Scream.
Yeah.
It's just like, come on, man. And then from then on, it was like Phantoms was just a picture like Ben Affleck and Liev Schreiber and whoever, like this is whack. Don't pay an artist. Come on, man. Donald Farmer was on here and we were talking about poster art, and he insists on a painter doing the poster art for his movies. And I was like, that's great. Like, you're going to get a uniquely crafted piece of art. It's going to be the one of a kind thing, and it's going to be the cover of your movie, instead of just like turn around blue steel, like that's just, that's boring.
No, for sure. A lot of Donald Farmer's film posters and artwork and stuff are really great too. Like it's just, it captures you.
Yeah. He and I 100% agreed on that piece.
Yeah. Like, what is that? What can I see?
Huh?
I was like, with his artwork is like, what is that? Like, I'm interested in seeing it. Like when you see his pieces and stuff.
Oh yeah. Gregory Goulash again with video rental shops were the art galleries of my childhood. Yes, that's a good way to put it.
I think even like when they did DVDs too, though, like you could still like have that same like feeling about like the artwork and stuff too, because I like, again, when they switched to DVDs, like I remember browsing those and just judging based off the cover. Like one film, like it took me a minute to rent it, but like Session 9, like I just kept seeing that cover over and over. I was like, I gotta watch this now. And like the ice pick in the eye, or that little eye piece, I don't know if you've seen Session 9, but like that was like, oh my gosh, I don't like anything messing with my eyes. So
you like Lucio Fulci movies a lot then? Yeah. Well, I remember the VHS covers and stuff, and like I got the, you can't see it, it's off camera, but the Friday the 13th Part 2 one sheet up here, and it's just the outline of Jason with the axe and the logo like that. All the VHS covers had this really cool flavor to them. And then when they redid the DVDs, the first run of DVDs they put out with Paramount, those had the VHS covers copied over. And I was like, yeah. And then they re-released them with these goofy looking covers where you could look and say, I used to make hockey masks, like the replicas, and I try to get them as close to the movie as possible. And so I'm sitting here like, that's not a Part 5 mask. That mask is nowhere near this movie. Get this junk off the cover. You know, I was so
That's so
offended by
funny.
that.
I know so many people that made hockey mask and like how particular they would be. Like, that's not a part 5. That's not a part 6. Like when looking in like at conventions and stuff like that. So it's so funny.
If someone makes something, I won't say that. But if Paramount or New Line puts some doo doo out on the cover of something, I'm going to judge it. Okay. And okay, what is your favorite type of physical media?
I mean, I generally like DVDs. Like DVDs is kind of what I stick to. Like I'm not one of those people that like, oh, I have to have it on Blu-ray or 4K or anything like that. Like to me personally, it doesn't add anything extra. I guess in a sense, like I think a DVD is just fine, and like that's kind of like what I stick with and tend to buy most often.
Well, it's, you know, like we were talking with somebody, and that was like when you know, VHS was cool. I'm not going back. We have a bunch of, you know, listeners and attendees to FrankenCon that love VHS, and so I'm not going to talk smack on VHS right now.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm never going back. It is too expensive for a format that's that old, and it degrades every time you watch it and all that stuff. But also with DVDs, we start getting the special features and the commentaries and stuff like that. VHS, the closest thing we had was like after you'd watch Puppet Master, you got a video zone, which was cool. You know, that was forward thinking from Charlie Band, but like I want to be able to hit the button and go straight to the thing where, you know, Sid Haig is making fun of Bill Moseley in House of a Thousand Corpses or something. You know, I want to go straight to the special features and stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's probably one of my favorite things about the DVDs, because you do have those special features and stuff. Because, like, again, like, and we talked about this before the show, like, growing up, like, internet didn't come along till a little bit later for me, and then, like, it was dial-up internet. You're not going to see anything like that on the internet at that time. So with DVDs, you got to actually see the interviews with these horror celebrities and stuff like that, and, like, even like behind the scenes and like how, you know, they did the effects for something and like what kind of budget they worked with. You know, if you go back to like George Romero and like his films and stuff, and like those are some of my favorite like behind the scenes to watch, because like literally it was like no budget too, and like just how they got that film done. And so it's like super inspiring to like go back and watch those, especially now. Because you don't have access to that, but like obviously now with the internet and like everything's just instant. So, but back then, like to me, DVDs was always like the best and coolest thing when they did come out.
I agree. Oh, we got our buddy Kyle here. Blu-rays are the best, though.
I mean,
I'm not saying that
they might
wrong.
be. I just can't tell a difference, and it could be my vision. So,
I mean, I can see
a little bit of difference, but you can still see the same story. So
I think, yeah, it's the same story. I think I can see a difference. I think it heavily depends on the screen you're watching it on. More, I think more than the disc itself, it depends on the screen.
Yeah.
'Cause, like, I've got a 4K TV and I don't have a 4K player, so I don't watch discs in 4K right now, right? But if I stream from like Disney and I watch Avengers Part 42 or whatever, it's in 4K. And so I can tell a difference there between that and DVD. But look, they both look great.
Yeah. I mean, both essentially are the same thing, just one's a little prettier.
Sure. If DVDs, if you get the DVD for $5 and the Blu-rays is $40, guess I'm watching it on DVD. Hey, buddy.
And can we bring the Switch to Albany?
I don't know. Why don't you talk to Mom? You know I'm on the internet, like live, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go talk to Mom.
I just want to know if we can.
You need to talk to Mom.
I want to.
Go talk to Mom.
Can we?
We're not talking about it. Go talk to
Why?
Mom.
In the morning?
Go talk to Mom.
I want to know.
Yeah, go talk to Mom. Kids are cool. Kids are fun. Okay. All right. We got to get into some controversy here. We can't have all these fluffy softball questions. Lately, there's been a lot of posts on social media, pro and con, and just ridiculous about AI generated art. And so they're generating everything with AI now, video, audio, text, art for posters, much to the chagrin of Donald Farmer. What are your thoughts on it?
Oh, it's like the worst question. I definitely
Yes.
like. I think it has some good to it, right? So if you're trying to come up with concept art or something, like that's cool. But essentially, if you're using other people's artwork and stuff to manipulate, like that's where it's like I don't think it's okay, because like if you think about like original artists, right? And how much time they spend creating that art. Like if someone does a painting, right? That just doesn't happen overnight, and like those skills and stuff like that. So I can see how it can be a good thing when people use and stuff like that, but not necessarily to sell, or like, I don't know, like to create like your whole like DVD cover or anything like that, like from it. Like if you're using it just as like a learning tool or like to gather ideas, sure, but like outside that, I wouldn't necessarily want to see someone selling someone else's art that they just AI generated.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think it's a tool, and I think it can be used for good or evil and everything in between. But yeah, I'm with you on that. Like the thought of like just buying artwork that someone has painted or something and just feeding it in there and just puking out kind of a facsimile of that's really annoying. But also using it to make a quick mock up
Yeah.
of a poster, or like storyboarding when you can't draw.
Yeah.
Or I've even heard people talk about like people that want to do art, but like they're physically incapable of doing art. So like someone with like a disability or something. So in those cases, I think it has merit. But and some of the stuff that comes out of it's really cool. Like the concept art and stuff, when people like mash things up that don't belong together, like Mario Brothers and Dune or whatever, like this doesn't make any sense, but yeah, it's neither good nor evil for me. It's just sort of depends on the wielder.
And honestly, like at this point, like there's no way to stop it. Like it's like keep going with it, creating something new, whether it's AI images to voiceovers to everything else. So
yeah, I mean there's some music video on YouTube that's like literally it's these like orcs and goblins and stuff, and like the video itself was generated by AI, the lyrics, the music, everything, like every part of it was AI generated apparently, and that's sort of terrifying, but also it's interesting. Gregory Goulash is going to save us from the controversy for a moment with another fluffy question. Favorite underappreciated horror movie that you think more people should see? And I'm going to copy that into my question bank.
I don't know if it's necessarily underappreciated. I don't think it gets talked about enough, but probably like one of my top favorites, and like I've actually been told like that she reminds like when they see her, they're reminded her of me, just from like how I am. But the movie May. So the movie May, I absolutely love and adore that film, and I think it's a really good story and stuff. And I don't think it gets enough like talked about, but I don't think it's necessarily underappreciated. But that's one I would definitely like always recommend to people to watch.
Yeah, May. Lucky McKee directed. Angela Bettis, James Duval.
Yes.
I can't remember the whole IMDb, but yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm with Dixie on that one. That's a good one. Check out May. I don't think it's out of print right now. I think last time I tried to find a DVD of that, I couldn't. Like it was like ungodly priced. I could be wrong. Where's Kyle? Where's the Blu-ray? Come on, Kyle. Yeah, that's a good one though. It's a fun movie for something where you do that. to people. It's a fun movie.
It's not your typical storyline, so
No.
I was trying to think of another one, but honestly, like my brain can't think. I'll just go with May for now. If I think of something else, I'll let you know.
I got one for you, Gregory. Cry Wolf.
I've actually never seen that.
I really like that movie. I don't think it's like perfect, and I think it came out during a time when it was like, let's get pretty people and put them in a slasher. But some cool movies came out of that time. I Know What You Did Last Summer is awful. I went back and watched that like a year ago. That movie is horrible. Like the soundtrack is straight fire, but that movie.
See, I've only watched that movie once. I've never gone back to watch it. Like,
Don't just hold on to your memories. Just don't. Cry Wolf though. I'm a big fan of.
The Loved
Oh,
Ones.
I got a half decent.
Good one.
The Loved Ones.
Mm-hmm.
Gregory says Cry Wolf is half decent. I have not seen May. You will like May, and Cry Wolf is half decent. Thank you, Gregory. The Loved Ones is the one with the girl wearing the crown and she's holding a drill or something. Somebody said.
Yep.
I've never watched that either.
You'll like it. It's a good one to watch.
Gregory says I would probably say Killer X, the Joker Poker Night, if I had to choose. What is that? Is that a movie?
I don't know what that is. So I'm gonna.
Killer X, the Joker Poker Night. What a name. Is that it sounds like a Batman comic. I guess because it says the Joker.
Yeah, no idea.
Killer X, the Joker.
Is Killer X the title?
Oh, Killer X is a movie and the Joker are separate movies.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. Wild Eye? No.
I don't think I've seen Killer X either.
Are you talking about X? Like just like the Ty West movie X? All right, Gregory, you're confusing me over here. X was cool. Like that.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the controversy though. Enough of this happiness. Another hot button topic, cancel culture. So what are your thoughts on canceling a movie because of the behavior of those who made it? And you and I have kind of side chatted about similar things.
Yeah.
But you know what, I guess the example I'll throw out is Jeepers Creepers.
That's immediately like what I always think of when anybody like talks about it when it comes to like films, stuff like that. And I know people have said it before on your show, but separate the art from the artist, like, because again, it's not just that one person's film. There's so many other people that put their work and time and blood, sweat, and tears into that project too. So now it's one thing if like it was something that might have been happening on set and like people knew about it and like hiding it, that sort of thing. But like just in general, like just separate it. Like hate the person, just not the art.
Okay. I've softened on my stance for this thing, you know, because I used to be like so hardcore about it. I was like, I will not even stream Jeepers Creepers again.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I'll never buy the Funko Pop of the Creeper, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's really hard too sometimes though, like, because it can be super upsetting. But I think, at least for me, just from working on film sets and like knowing how much work can go into it, just the projects and stuff, like I don't think it's fair to the other people.
Yeah. I mean, if you just don't like it, then, you know, obviously don't.
Yeah.
I think where I draw the line now is sort of like going after people because they're a fan of it.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not I told plenty of people how I felt about Jeepers Creepers and Victor Salva, but I wasn't like, I can't believe you as a person would dare watch this movie. where are
Yeah.
your morals? You know, come on, man.
Yeah. No, I don't think like people should be gone after for liking it or anything like that either. Like, just put that energy somewhere else. Don't waste that time.
Go make a movie and don't be a scumbag when you do it.
Yeah. Go make a movie about how much you hate him and put that out.
Make a movie where Jeepers Creeper turns around and destroys Victor while he's making the movie. There you go. All right, last controversial one, then we got some more fluffy questions. What are your thoughts on bootlegging out of print titles? And I didn't even think this one was controversial, and then people started going bootlegging. Ugh. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about people stealing your movie. Like,
I mean, it's hard because at the same time, like it depends. Like the out of prints, is it someone that like indie films? I mean, essentially all films were indie films in the beginning. I mean, I see both sides. Like it's the Gemini in me. Like I can see both sides to everything. So it's really hard for me to have like an exact answer because like 5 minutes later I'll think of something else or like another reasoning or whatever.
Well, these recordings will not be used against you, okay? So
I think like with out of prints, like if it absolutely does not exist anywhere,
yeah.
Sure, you know, I mean, at least someone gets to see the art. It's not like forever gone.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's so many films that like that people can't see today because of that, and like, you know, their minds would be freaking blown if they could see it, like, and just spread the art.
I'm with you. I mean, I have bought bootleg movies before. I don't make a habit out of it. I certainly don't bootleg anything that is watchable through some sort of legal means, you know,
Yeah.
like just buying it. But yeah, I mean, if it's something out of print that like some studio's just sitting on the rights to, and they will just not let it go for whatever reason, it's just like, I want to watch Fright Night 2.
Yeah.
You know, sue me. Okay, don't sue me. Just,
please don't.
You know, please don't sue me. All right. Favorite? I feel like I know this already, but I'm going to ask you. Favorite costume, mask, or prop from a horror film?
Oh gosh. Okay, so like this is where like costumes and props and all that's like what I love about like films, like doing indie films, because like that's my favorite, like creating a character, like the outfit, the look, and all that stuff.
Sure.
So that's so freaking hard to choose. Oh my gosh. I mean, okay, so the original Strangers, like that's also another one of my favorite films.
Oh yeah, it's real good.
Just like the creepy doll mask and stuff. So I thought that was really cool. I'm trying to think.
Well, they're like really basic, right? Like that.
Yeah.
Something about being basic is more creepy than something elaborate.
It really is. And then I think like anything satanic or demonic, like I'm always gonna love so much. Like, you know, any witchcraft, like cult type look, it's gonna be my favorite. And then obviously the glove from Freddy Krueger, but
that was what I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah, but there's so many great like costumes and things like that. I do like the puzzle box from Hellraiser. I think that's
yeah.
Gosh, my mind's like racing everywhere. So there's just so much. Like that's literally probably like my favorite things from film. It's like costumes and stuff. So
cool. Those are good picks. All right, 3 films you think every horror fan should see.
Oh God.
They don't have to be underrated or hidden gems or whatever, but 3 films you think everybody should see if they're truly into the genre.
It's so hard because like the genre is like so broad. Like I'd probably say Evil Dead. I feel like that should be one.
Good one.
Let me look. Let me look for a second.
It's tough. It's tough
It
whittling
is
it down.
to like narrow it down to like to some, because like again, there's so many options.
Well, the way I think about this question is like if someone were, if it was like beginner's guide to horror, what three kind of things would you want to steer them towards? So like you pick one that's a really good slasher and one that's,
Yeah. Let's go with I'll go with Evil Dead.
the
The
original,
Lost Boys.
right?
The original.
Okay.
You gotta have the vine scene.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Okay.
we'll go with the Lost Boys.
Yeah, I still believe.
And then, oh gosh,
Lost Boys is wonderful.
I freaking love that movie so much.
Well, let me drop another thing for you real quick. Just I'm working on something that you would like then.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying. I'm working on it. Who knows?
Let's
But I
go
still believe.
with This is so hard. I don't like these questions. This is not good.
The controversial questions, you were like, man,
Oh my
I'll
God.
answer them. This one, you're like, 3 movies. You expect me to pick 3 movies out of all these movies? Come
I
on,
know.
man.
I mean, because part of me, like, obviously, like, I would choose like a Nightmare on Elm Street film, but like, I kind of don't want to go that route.
It doesn't have to be like unique to like no one's ever picked this movie,
Let's go with Creepshow.
Hey. Love Creepshow. Big fan of that one.
That's a good one.
Okay, so Evil Dead, the one filmed in Morristown, Tennessee.
The Lost Boys and
Creepshow. Really good. Good picks. And one of those doesn't have a cabin. Wait, did Lost Boys have a cabin?
No, they had a cave.
Yeah, have a cave, and that
I mean,
house.
technically, they lived in a cabin, kind of.
It's like a hunting lodge kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of,
Yeah,
kind of whatever you can have for a cabin in California. All right, 2 movies. This one's easier, hopefully.
Are
2
you sure?
movies. At this point, I have no idea what I'm talking about, Dixie. This is the train's off the rails. 2 movies to watch during the Halloween season to get you in the spooky mood.
Trick or Treat.
Michael Dougherty.
Yes, that Trick or Treat. Which his prop, the sucker, another fantastic thing. What else? Honestly, it's not really horror, but I always watch like Hocus Pocus. But
that works.
Yeah.
Mick Garris wrote the first draft of that movie. I mean, I'm
trying to think what else. I feel like there is another movie I always watch too, though. Let's go with those 2.
Okay, those are good.
I mean, typical choices we always watch Halloween as well, but I mean, I'm sure everyone else does.
I would get so pissed off every year at AMC for just showing like 4 Halloween movies on Monster Fest or whatever, and I'm like, I love Halloween, but like, come on, just don't do the same thing every year. It's tired. All right, last one. This one's easy. Just kidding. What advice do you give an up and coming artist that's so a filmmaker or actor, someone who's in a similar boat to you? What advice do you give them if they're just starting out?
Like, honestly, it is going to be all about like meeting people, networking and stuff. Like, you have to put yourself out there. Like, in a sense, like, I'm still a shy person, but I used to be more shy back in the day. Like, we're talking like 7 years ago, I was so shy, like I wouldn't order my own food at restaurants. So like, that's how shy I was.
You've come a long way. You're now at cons and doing movies.
Yeah, for sure. So you have to definitely be comfortable with putting yourself out there and trying new things. And you have to be comfortable being told no.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to get every opportunity or every chance to do what you want to do. And you know what? If you get told no often enough, that's when I say you just go out and do your own film. Like, honestly, like, anybody can make a movie these days. Like, there's so many tools that we have, especially with like all the smartphones and stuff like that, and like the apps and stuff. But then, of course, again, and like Dylan mentioned in his interview before, like, again, getting on people's sets and like volunteering and just like helping out and learning things. That's honestly going to be your best way. And like the groups on Facebook and stuff, that's how you're going to meet people. Conventions. That's how I got my first role ever for Crazy Fat Ethel. Is I met the director at Horror Hound. I was vending there with my jewelry, and we had a mutual friend, and they came up and we started talking. You know, he befriended me on Facebook, told me I should be in his movie and audition for it, and I did, and I got the role. Which 2 years prior to that, I had auditioned for a film and didn't get it, and like I'm glad I didn't get it in the long run. But like at that point, I was like, oh, I've been told no, it's never gonna happen, and that just kind of happened. And then from there, I put myself out there again because I didn't know anybody on that film set, so I was like, these are brand new people. And then even when Heidi Moore's Kill Dolly Kill, that's Dolly Deadly 2, that's being released by Troma. Again, that was another film set going into it. I knew nobody as well, but because of the previous film and someone saw that work, you know, I was able to get that part. And like from there, it's just all the connections you continually to build. So you got to be able to put in the work and be on the film sets and just be open to it.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, resilience, taking risks, you know, being vulnerable.
Yeah.
I think that stuff, I mean, not just for this stuff, but I mean, it's important in life to be okay with those things. So, no, that's good advice for anybody doing anything. And especially if you're going to put yourself out there and try to become someone in a creative space. So that's
and not
good.
only that, but like, you know, even, you know, people are going to judge you regardless. Like, so it's just like, you got to learn to be okay with it.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you talked about networking and I'm with you. I believe it's very important, but like another thing you have to be okay with is like, not everybody's going to be your best buddy at the end of the thing, you know, like you're probably going to come out of it with a bunch of friends, but you don't have to please everybody, right? Like just be a good person, do good things, do what you're passionate about, and don't lose sleep.
Yeah.
Unless Freddy's after you. Came back to Freddy. Dixie, well, that is the end of my questioning. So you survived that.
Yeah.
I don't think it was too difficult. Just the one with the 3 movies. You were just like
just having to pick out movies, man. Like there's just so many, like my brain can't focus because like, again, like that's because I have to think that, well, what might they be into? Like, would they like to see blood more, or like more of this or that? And like, so that's where my brain goes. I'm like, I just can't pick.
I need to compile those answers in a spreadsheet and look at them, analyze the data. Well, we've had the ticker running, but go ahead and throw out some plugs for your stuff. And I know people can go purchase your movies at headlesscatproductions.com, and it's spelled just like the real words. It's not cute, just spell it out. You can go buy DVDs and 8x10s and stuff there, even an enamel pin. Oh my God.
Yep, headlesscatproductions.com. I've got Piggy up there right now, which is not the Piggy that you can see on Hulu. Different short film. Different film in general. They're both short films, but came out at the same time. Kind of the same story. It's a revenge story. Ends in blood, of course. So you can purchase Piggy, which is a short film, and then Secrets of the Witch. You can snag off there. Hopefully soon I will have Symbolicus 3, which is like an extreme horror anthology that I had a short on up there as well. And then eventually Fucked, which is an extreme horror anthology with female-oriented directors, will eventually come out at some point. But yeah, headlesscatproductions.com. Find me on Instagram at headlesscatpro. I'll be at Scarefest this year, so if you want to come see me and hang out, I'll have a booth at Scarefest.
I won't,
yeah.
but I'll be there.
And that's essentially it.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for coming on the show, Dixie. I'm glad we finally. And for those of you who are watching or listening here later, we've been trying to do this for a while. There's just been a couple roadblocks here and there, but we finally got you on. And you know what? We'll do it again at some point in the future. So when you get a couple of the current projects up on your site, come back and plug those, and we can chat again. I can throw you some other weird question that makes you go.
Too many choices.
What's your favorite everything in horror movies? Well, let's see. Let me pull up a list. Okay. All right. Dixie, thanks again. And to everybody out there watching, there's 3 things you got to do. You got to take your vitamins, say your prayers, and stay spooky, my dudes. And yes, I did rip off Hulk Hogan. Bye.